Alright, come back here, guys. I think video 8 is where we're at. This is video 8. So we just got done taking off my whip antenna and the remote cable that goes to it from my radio. And we were talking about the Snug Pack Patrol poncho liner. The insulation part, right? So I have that for a lot of years. It's a really good piece of kit. I'm telling you, and with mine, I sewed the sides shut. One I sewed shut by hand, and then I said, forget this crap. I got the sewing machine out, and I sewed the other side shut with the sewing machine. So I don't really care about using this as a blanket. I just wanted it as a lightweight insulating piece, okay, for military type applications, right? Minuteman. So the difference between this and say like a Helicontex Swagman roll or other is that this has arms. So I like, if I'm going to go and sleep out, let's say with minimal kit, I'm not going to be taking no wool blanket, and I'm probably not going to be taking, sleeping bags, okay, especially if it's 3-season situation. I'll just put this, and then I'll put this underneath the Swagman roll. And I've already married the two together, and it started burning up. It was really, really warm. So we're going to have we're going to have a dedicated Swagman video coming up because I have one little nitpick with it, and I could cure that myself, which is the buckle strapping situation. But the insulation and whatnot with the Swagman roll is perfect, It's got better insulation than any of the other products out there that I could see on the market. There's another one that's got the Primaloft, and we will get into that later. But this has, they call this travel something insulation. I don't know what the heck it is, but it's good. It works. So again, like I said, you always want stuff tied off, secured, whatever, right? So you don't lose nothing. Accidents happen, right? So in this case, I got my bag, right? Inclement weather. And I was in inclement weather the other night when I was on the Ruck march. This was all wet on the outside. Even the Swagman roll was wet, But Swagman rolls ClimaShield. And I know that ClimaShield dries out like that. So I wasn't worried about that. So anyway, I went ahead, rolled this up, and then I secured this to my strap. Alright? So I secured her to my strap. Alright. So there it is. Inside here is the Snug Pack Patrol Poncho Liner, alright, which is brown, alright, so it's brown, and it's very wind resistant. I've used this in winter, okay, use that in winter, underneath a battle smock, okay, no insulation other than that, so just tighten up the battle smock around the hem down at the bottom, and have all that crap tucked up underneath. There you go. Alright, so I ran out of battery in my phone yesterday when I started all this business. So I took some of the contents of this pouch out. And what that was, we'll get into in a minute. A couple of cables, right? And I know there was a charging unit. Alright, so now I took one cable out. There's a cable here. Alright. So what this is like my extra batteries. I got extra AA batteries. There were more in here, but I used them yesterday when I ran out of battery in my phone. I just charged it up with the extra batteries and the charging unit. So anyway, this is your typical medical / compass / anything pouch, right? Old school, Alice. Extra batteries. They're in a plastic Ziploc brand. I don't buy off brands because the off brands are not as good. They don't last as long. Anyway, you want to keep all your batteries positive, negative, positive, negative. Okay, you want them all oriented the same way. So you get them all in there, you stuff them all in your sack. Make sure they're all the same way. Squeeze all the air out, Ziploc it, and then stuff it in here. That way you don't discharge your batteries accidentally and then start crying when you don't have any. Alright, later. Because that's what will happen. You will be crying. Oh, I sure wish I had taken his advice and oriented all my batteries the right way. Because now I don't have no batteries to charge up my phone. Alright, so these are little Goal Zero. These are not the latest and greatest on the market. I've had these for 13 years. They always work. Alright, so they even have a light here, LED light. You could turn it to light. You could turn it, put it on charge mode. You could discharge mode. Right, so that's that. This is the cable that goes with it. And what I found, and Goal Zero does not tell you this, but what I have found is that because I have a background, I did this experiment because I figured it would work anyway, and it did, is that you take the output of this one and you plug it into the input of another one just like this with batteries, right? And then you turn this one on and then you turn that one on. This one will discharge to that one if it's less than, so they kind of equalize, right, on charge. And then you could plug the output of this one over here, the output, to your phone, right? So you can have like 4 AA batteries here and 4 AA batteries in the other one, and then you can jack up your phone, right? Make it pump up the power. If you're like depleted, or if you just want to keep it topped off, you could have that already charged up. Just turn it off, plug all this in together, and then this will always keep it topped off till you need it. All right, stick it in your pouch in a plastic Ziploc or on your Ruck or wherever you want to keep it, right? Okay, so there's a couple of extra side pouches in here, and what I have in here, a comb, because when you're eating your victory bacon after your Ruck march, which I haven't done yet, I'm going to do that probably tonight. You want to comb your hair because you want to be ready for photos, Right. Yep. Okay, so this is just kind of a little joke, but have you ever seen the movie Stand By Me with the 4 kids, and they go on a little camping trip overnight? And the one kid is kind of like, the problem child, and he borrows his father's 1911 Colt 45. Stand By Me. Anyway, this is kind of a little thing from there. The kid brings the comb. He says, "Man, when we get in the paper, we want to have our hair combed, right?" So anyways, just a little joke for you guys. Alright, so that pocket's clear. Going on to the next one. Right, so this is supposed to be a reconnoiter. So I've got some things in here. Alright, here's some extra parachute cord and camo. Right. I have some military rubber bands. So these are for attaching camouflage to your scrim and your optics and whatnot. Right? Okay. So these are kind of like a something you might use with Coyote Brown and whatnot. Anyway, you could use these for lots of different things, right? So these are military rubber bands. So I got those. Anything else in there? That pocket's clear. I've got my military binoculars, right? My binos. I've got those. So these right here have range finding reticle in them. There's a formula for that. I think that I have a silent video that shows how this is used, okay, near the very beginnings of this channel, okay. And these are M24s. They're L.V.I. M24s, and there's some calculations that you can do to, you know, to check out how far something is from you by its height and whatnot, right? So the reticle is in there, and then you can change it. But the reticle is only in one side, so you just use it as a monocular, and then you go ahead and jot down your little notes, and then you do your calculations, and then you know how far that is, right? Now, some of you guys say, well, what about your shine, right? What about that glare on your lens? Well, we're going to get into that. I'm going to do a special video for you on that, since I just bought these 2-3 years ago. I hadn't really done anything with them. I just got them set back. Okay, and then as I go along, I've been doing little things here and little things there to prepare different things. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to prepare these. Alright, so I'm going to show you. They used to make these covers that would go over like that. They would just slip on there. And they were fairly tight so they wouldn't just slide off, right? And then they would have a cutout, right? Some guys take these covers and they just cut them out, right? They cut them out and they use these instead. But then you're losing that protection, right? And we want to protect our optics. We don't want our optics, you know, because this is an instrument. We want all of our stuff to be in good repair when we need it, because you may not be able to get another, okay, unless it's off of another dead soldier, right? So you take care of your kit. But I'll do a video just on that. There's a couple of different ways you could do it, homebrew, that a lot of soldiers have done. One is my own particular method that I came up with. It's just another method, right? Because when you got time on your hands, you mess around with things like that. All right, you know that alarm just squawked, so I got like another minute. We'll try to clear this pocket. Okay, I got a couple of malice in here, a couple of malice straps, right? These are just little just in case items. Something happens, you got to secure something. But all of my pockets are secure with paracord, but you never know, right? We built out the scenario for, you know, a regular type mission, you know. as regular as you're going to get in the civilian world when you don't have access to certain things. Okay. Okay, here's some more. These are called snake straps. You may or may not have heard of them. Alright. Same sort of scenario, snake them through places, and then you just use you could use paracord to zip them up. Right. Or zip ties. A lot of guys use zip ties. I don't particularly like zip ties because of the fact that you can have some sharp points. Right. Alright, that pocket's clear. Alright guys, come back to another one. See you there.